It's the after lunch walk around. It occurs to me I should go and turn my music off before I get a copyright strike. Last two wheels for the crane bridge have come, so these guys are off to assemble those into the crane bridge now. So we have progress on the concrete. Although this is already cracking, which is a bit of a worrying sign. So it's the midday break. These guys need to have the formal idea of a siesta, I think. Makes a lot of sense in this sort of climate because it's stinking hot. Yeah, so we'll have a sliding door up here before long. We're putting the track up for that. And we've been talking about the metal components for the top of this service pit. So I want angle iron around the top, which can be welded at the corners, but also want angle iron along the rails down lower. One piece that goes like that to protect the sides from things going backwards and forwards, and another piece that goes like that down to protect that lip. So if those are put in and just from flat strap welded across the end to keep them spaced, same across this end possibly, but then you'll have the lower rectangle and upper rectangle, and then they can have some vertical straps welded between those to keep them together, and that will be all the fixing in place it needs. It won't need glue or bolts or anything to hold it in place because gravity will be quite sufficient. And then it rained. Oh boy, did it rain. That puddle's got a lot bigger. And the tub full of concrete over there, I'm not quite sure how well that's going to go. The wheelbarrow is filled with water. So that'll dilute the concrete a bit. The steel guys are still okay because they can work undercover over there. But the concrete, yeah, that's come to an end for the day, I suspect. Good tropical rain. And by the look of the downpipe at the end of the front gutter over there, that's feeding into the tanks. What a shame that we don't have valves on the output yet. So that'll just be pouring out into the drain. Would have been good to be capturing that. While I've been hanging that door, I've been designing the drop-in grates for the top of the pit. Given that I've got a 28 centimetre height between the floor and the ledge in the pit, that's a pretty big gap to fill. So that's one factor. The other factor is the fact that whatever we drop in there, it's got to be strong enough that you can drive the compact truck loader over it without taking damage. So what I'm building is going to be too heavy to lift, I suspect. We're going to have to use the crane to lift it. And the rain got heavier. Come out the front and check out how the new layout of the concrete here works. Still puddling in front of Yo-Yo's house, but it seems to flow well down here. It's good to watch. Well, there was lots of rain, but it did stop. These guys have assembled the final wheels into the bridge trolley now. So I guess that will get assembled before long. Hopefully the paint on it is good and will keep rust from forming as a result of the rain. And somebody's building concrete reinforcement trusses. cages. I wonder what that's for. Cleared out this bit and just had gravel in it to prepare for concrete, and it filled with water. I think I said they did resume work after the rain ceased, so they managed to empty out what was in the wheelbarrow and the tub. Otherwise that could have been messy. And that huge puddle there is already drained quite a bit because there's actually a pipe that feeds into that canal over there to keep that level down a bit. We have a door in place. Just needs a coat of white paint. Creek's running pretty well, but not as vigorously as I expected. Maybe I'll come later. I guess this was inevitable. Cat and chicken. So yeah, it's inescapable. It's morning walk around. So it looks like we're getting some texture for the refined surface to stick to. And when the surface is refined, we get the brush marks in it to provide texture for gripping. So hopefully, when it rains on this and I walk on it, I won't just slip flat on my back like I've been known to do in the past on some of the concrete around here. This afternoon walk around, and I found out what the frame that was being built down at the rice factory yesterday was about. It's here on the east side of Lisa's house. Putting up a new wall here to stop the rain coming from this and all over the porch, the veranda. So yeah, going to be a big wall by the look of it. Being after lunch, so they're all having their rest break. So I shall wander over there, and the battery on my music over there has obviously gone flat, so I'll take another battery over for that. They actually put the door closer on for me yesterday, so that was easy. Made my life simpler. They're working on getting the doorstop on there, and they've already put an extension on the bottom there for me because I didn't think the cats would slow down going underneath that. Let's get a bit busier here. They've got the oh, okay, I was going to put that up myself. Put it up for me. This, I mounted this morning, and this, and wired all this up and was prepared to hang that up there, and they've hung it up for me. So that simplifies things. And we've got our tube on here now, so I'm just going to put a bolt up here to tie the tube up to. That's my water depth gauge. All this stuff's fully mounted on the wall now. Pumps wired. Got my depth gauge there, and they've plumbed in the rain gutters into the tank. Drain valves are fitted and turned off. Bought some Aldi shelving brackets. The once upon a time, 3 sets. I actually used one set in the lounge room. No, I think usually wet somewhere. I used a set somewhere, I forget where now, but I had 2 sets left over, and lo and behold, they're ideal for support brackets for that long pipe that goes from the back rain gutter to the input of the tanks. I asked Azra whether we've got lids on those manholes and a screen on the input, and he said yes. I hope he didn't misunderstand me. I guess I'll find out when I start getting mosquitoes coming out of there. So it's the evening walk around, and that's how far we've got with this. We've got the formwork there and concrete in the what I refer to as ring beam, or base rail in this case. And it looks like it's going to be a fairly tall wall, which means no light coming in those windows. Oops. But let's go and see what else has happened. Looks like they finished off the concrete down there, and what's happened is that dark thing up there is that ring mounted on a plate which has got 4 solid bolts into the wall, and that's going to be the tie point for the house end of the cable. The steel cable is going to carry the other 2 cables. And this is those other 2 cables. One on the right's Ethernet cable, sort of the outside type Ethernet cable, and the one on the left is 2-core 6 square millimetre conductors outside power cable. So they will be suspended from the stainless steel cable that's going to run across to the house over there from above my head. The stainless steel cable is actually already up there on a roll. Try to focus. Yeah. Anyway, the story is, the way I figured it out, we run the cable through the loop at that end and pull it over to here, tie it to the loop at this end, then slacken it off so we can drop down, and above the end of the back patio over here, I want to put a loop in that stainless steel cable, and we can do that with a cable clamp, and that'll be a tie point so that the big thick power cable doesn't sort of slide back along the stainless steel cable, because we want it to drop down and go through into where the off-grid stuff is. And the Ethernet cable will carry on straight across to the house, and they'll need to drill another hole through there to push that through, and that will continue up to the other end of the house and down into the storeroom where there's a Ethernet repeater with the spare port on it for that. Looks like they've finished mounting up the door here now. So we have points where we can lock it from the outside, and that'll undoubtedly get painted white at some stage. And it's locked from the inside, so we'll have to go around to the back door to get in to unlock that. I may have to lubricate these hinges because the door closer is not strong enough to close it at that point. I think we need to lubricate the hinges to make it a bit easier. I think the door closer is good for up to 45 kilograms, and I suspect that's about a 100 kilogram door. Yeah, so the crane has progressed down to the building it's going to be installed in. So they've been up there working on bits and pieces today. I probably should get that big power cable and the other power cable out of the way there. Well, look at that. Yeah, it's morning walk around, and the bathroom's getting redone today, among other things. Construction of Lizu's new wall is underway. At the moment we're constrained by a lack of ladders. These guys need this ladder for working inside, and we need it also for working on doing the electrical wiring. So I've asked Azra where the other ladder went, the smaller one, which we may be able to use for the electrical stuff. It's the after lunch walk around, and there's the current state of the shower/toilet room, which is pretty much denuded of tiles now, and we now proceed to get new tiles installed. And this is the state of Lizu's new wall, going up rapidly. That bit on the left did get concreted. Not quite sure what's going to happen with this drain here, whether that'll get a cap of some kind on it or it'll just be a pothole. I'm sure I'll see in the fullness of time. There's not a lot new to be seen over here. I gathered they run out of white paint, so I've said, yeah, okay, buy more white paint, finish doing the front and the columns and maybe the west wall of the shed itself, but don't do the east wall of the tank, because we've complicated that now with all that gear that's bolted to it. I brought over my extra hose reel, which will be used connected to that tap at the end. Had to change some fittings on that. I didn't have another short hose to go from that to the reel, and the fittings I had for sort of snap-on were not actually compatible with that tap for some reason. So I wound out the hose and cut off the inner end and used the new fittings to connect to the inner end of the reel and the end of the reel. And I've got a very, very pregnant cat rubbing around my ankles again. She's very friendly. And Jabita doesn't like her. Doesn't like me encouraging her by patting her. I'm just hoping she's... oh God, she's due any second. I'm just hoping she's not planning to have her kittens inside my shed. I did bring over my big wet and dry vacuum cleaner, thinking to use that to clean up the dust. I see somebody else has actually been wielding it. What they've been doing is establishing the attachment points for the ends of those rails. Oh, I've got to step across. Ends of those rails. Length join, 6 metres from that end and 6 metres from this end, is going to be the left of this column. And that tells me why at the end of these beams we have 6 holes and 4 holes on the face. So this is going to be the underside, and there will be a plate along there, and there'll also be a plate either side. So yeah, well, you can see the plates over there. So the wider ones are for the faces of the eye there, and the narrower ones for along this face, which will be underneath. So the end of the rail, which is to the left of those centre columns there, will be, yeah, it'll be bolted to the one that's thoroughly supported at this end. I think that should be adequate support for it. Certainly hope so. Yeah, well, it is stinking hot, and I need to go and hide from the heat. It's the afternoon walk around. This is how far the wall's got to at Lizu's house. You can hear the rice factories running in the distance. I don't think I need to go down there. And it appears like it's just about to start raining. Nothing new's happened on the outside. I don't know when new paint's going to be bought. I'm sure that'll be coming up soon. I've dug out my lead strips again. I'm going to put lead strips inside the lock-up cages for lighting from floor to ceiling. The idea is that if I put shelves in there, the bottom shelves will be illuminated all the way to the back, just like the top ones will. So today they've been mounting those metal brackets on the sides of the columns, and when they put the rails up there, the rails will be welded to those, making it strong, strong, strong. This morning walk around, and the new wall is getting some formwork ready for putting concrete in the columns. And in here, bench added by wanting the bench there. That rice over the fence is growing furiously, as it does in the tropics. Amazing. It's actually a public holiday today, so not many people about, but the guys on my projects apparently like the money too much. Well, I located my concrete covered aluminium ladder, so given that that's in place there, I can get up on top of that roof. Well, there's been a mixed communication because I do not have my mesh on there that I was expecting. We don't have lids on these yet, so I don't understand where the miscommunication is, but I will try to get it sorted out. So after lunch, walk around, and I've done their preparations of the walls in there by the look of it, to a certain extent. Got the bench in. Looks like that's going to be a self-supporting off the wall type bench, because there's steel rods drilled into the walls to the left and to the end. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I've got all the required formwork up on this to get up to that level now, so I expect the next thing will be concrete down those forms for the columns. More painting's been going on the back of the front door. I used some of our leftover plastic strapping stuff to strap those 4 pieces of angle iron onto that column to show how we're going to protect those from things bashing into it. And wherever you see a piece of tape like that on an edge, that's an edge that's going to be protected with a piece of angle iron. So all around the edges of the front of that, along the side, and up here to the same height as those. So that's the plan. So not going to need to do the back shelf, because there's nothing that's going to bash into that. So front sides of these columns don't need to do the back side, because the back side is not going to be hit by anything heavy. And at this end, we'll do this edge and this edge, because of things sliding backwards and forwards along here might bash in. So the guys are going to see how I do this. What if I can figure this way out? Okay, he's looking to see how it's done. I might have to go and give a hand to this. Yep, well, that's all figured out now. I did the first one, he did the second one, so it's all good. He knows how the process works now. And we're back to applying white paint, so I might go out the other door. And sometime we need to get up to this light to take the cover off and drain that. The LED tube in that actually still works on the left hand end for about half to a third of the length of the tube. What's immersed in the water is off. So I'm hoping that if we drain that and give it a chance to dry out, the tube might resume working. So after dinner walkabout, Lizu's wall has got a reinforced concrete strip along the top for most of its length, but not all of it. So more tomorrow, I guess. I don't like the idea of leaving that saw sitting up there to be rained on overnight, but that one's not my saw, so I won't make a fuss. On the major achievement front, we've got that pair of black cables and the stainless steel cable tied into the back of the house over here. The power cable comes down and goes through to the off-grid electrics area, and the Ethernet cable goes up through that hole in the wall. Nothing's connected either end at the moment, but will be tomorrow. The front door's been painted white now. So there's the power cable, which I'll tie into this box tomorrow, and the Ethernet cable that needs to be run along the top up there, up to the far end, where it will drop down and plug into an Ethernet switch, and everything else will be tailed off from that into here. So we have steel plates on both sides of each of those columns now. The only remaining pair of plates are on these two columns. Don't think I pointed out previously that we got that little area underneath the tub there tiled fully. I think they disassembled all the scaffolding a little bit too quickly, because it might have been very useful for helping to put up those crane rails. But the length of this video got away from me, I'm afraid, so I need to try and cut out whatever I can and upload this.